to Storytime in C Club, and the name of the book is Harold and the Purple Crayon. Well, as many of you know, purple is my absolute favorite color. You can see I'm usually wearing something purple, and sometimes it's a lot of purple, and always the purple watch. So let's find out about Harold and Harold's purple passion. Well, one evening, after thinking it over for some time, Harold decided to go for a walk in the moonlight. Well, there wasn't any moon, and Harold needed a moon for a walk in the moonlight, and he needed something to walk on. He made a long straight path so he wouldn't get lost. He set off on his walk, and he took his big purple crayon with him. Yet he didn't seem to be getting anywhere on a long straight path. So he left the path for a shortcut across a field, and the moon went with him. The shortcut led right to where Harold thought a forest ought to be. He didn't want to get lost in the woods, so he made a very small forest with just one tree in it. It turned out to be an apple tree. Oh, the apples would be very tasty, Harold thought, when they got red. So he put a frightening dragon under the tree to guard the apples. Well, it was terribly, terribly frightening, those dragons. It even frightened Harold. He backed away, his hand holding the purple crayon, and it shook. Suddenly he realized what was happening. By then, Harold was over his head in an ocean. He came up thinking fast. In no time, he was climbing aboard a trim little boat. He quickly set sail, and the moon sailed along with him. And after it sailed long enough, Harold made land without much trouble. He stepped ashore on the beach, wondering where he was, and the sandy beach reminded Harold of picnics, and the thought of picnics made him hungry. So he laid out a nice, simple picnic lunch. There was nothing but pie. But there were all 9 kinds of pie that Harold liked best. And when Harold finished his picnic, there was quite a lot left. He hated to see so much delicious pie go to waste. He left a very hungry moose, deserving porcupines also, to finish it up. Off he went, looking for a hill to climb to see where he was. He knew that the higher up he went, the further he could see, so he decided to make a hill into a mountain, and if he went high enough, he thought, he would be able to see in the window of his bedroom. He was tired, and he felt he ought to be getting to bed. He hoped he could see his bedroom window from the top of the mountain, but he looked down over the side, and he slipped. Oh, there wasn't any other side of the mountain. He was falling in thin air. Luckily, he kept his wits and his purple crayon. He made a balloon, grabbed onto it, and he made a basket under the balloon just big enough to stand in. He had a fine view from the balloon, but he couldn't see his window. He couldn't even see a house. So he made a house with windows. He landed the balloon on the grass in the front yard. None of the windows was his windows. He tried to think where his window ought to be. He made more and more windows, and he made a big building filled with windows. He made lots of buildings filled with windows, and he made a whole city full of windows. But none of the windows was his window. He couldn't think where it might be. He walked along with the moon, wishing he was in his room and in his bed. And then suddenly, Harold remembered. He remembered where his bedroom window was when there was a moon. It was always right around the moon. So Harold made his bed, and he got in it, and he drew up the covers, and the purple crayon dropped on the floor, and Harold dropped off to sleep. Oh, I love the story, and I love our birthday person. Our birthday person is a favorite author of Cameraman Dan's and mine, Barbara Pym. It was her birthday the other day, but we're going to be celebrating today. We have some of her books and things over there that remind us of her. But let's see, what kind of a cake do you think Barbara Pym would like? Well, it could be half vanilla and half chocolate. Sometimes that works. Or sometimes it's all chocolate, sometimes it's all vanilla. But what we do is we have the children vote. So let's find out. All right. These are the children that have voted for chocolate. Martha and Clara and Molly and Alice and Jolene and Wesley and Teddy and Ben and Bee and Bevy and Henry, Riley and Sophia and KJ. These are all chocolate. India and Marlo. The cousins from Portchester, lovely. That's James and Luke and Mark. The cousins from Tennessee are Jack and Jackson and Cole and Nora. Nora and Carson from Philadelphia also. These are all our chocolate people. They are indeed. All right, our vanilla votes are Akash and Malia and Bruce and Max and Jude and Zoe, Harris, Joseph and Christopher, and who else? Oh, Maya. I saw Maya today. And Hudson, Maxine and Lulu and Lucy. Frida too. Oh, yes, I almost forgot. Levi, a good friend of our friend Liz. Oh, and yes, and of course, Graham, Audrey, and Lila, and their cousin Harry, all the way from Roosevelt Island. Okay, I think that's it. Pretty even, pretty even. In fact, I think it might be, I think it is. It's 16 and 16. So Barbara Pym is going to have half vanilla and half chocolate cake. Okay, are we ready to sing? We are. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Barbara. Happy birthday to you. Thank you, Aaron Purr. Thank you, Oberon. And of course, thank you, cameraman Dan. Remember, I love you all very, very much.